so I'm sitting in the back of my Honda CRV. Because mine's a 2004, the back door swings out instead of up, which actually has some challenges compared to cars that have the lift back that you can hang things from, including mosquito netting and tents and so forth. But there's also a benefit to a door that swings sideways as well. So being that that's what I have, that's what I got to work with. So I'm going to show you how I built out the camper bed platform for storage and so forth. One thing I will tell you, as I pull out the different components and we put them in, is that I used pretty heavy lumber. I saw a lot of videos when I was trying to get ideas of how to build it, and I think there's a few videos out there now for a 2004 Honda CRV. Most are for single campers. I think one was for a husband and wife, which was my situation. And some of the materials people used, you know, just to, you're trying to create the most amount of space you can get, and maybe using thinner boards or thinner materials, or maybe their sleeping requirements weren't quite as strict as mine. Mine, I need to be really comfortable. And because you're limited to basically a double size, a full size bed, you know, side to side for two people, and that's with your kind of your bum up against the edge of the car, is that when you have to turn over in the night, because you are going to turn over in the night, you sort of have to lift up and turn so you're not hitting the other person. And when you do that, the car is already, right? You've already got motion in the car on the shocks. I didn't want the frame to be banging around, to be feeling weak. I didn't want to feel like I was going to go through, because you're just not going to sleep well. So the lumber that I used 3/4 inch sheets of plywood, and I used anywhere from 2x4s to 2x10s to a 2x12. What I will tell you is that we took this from North Carolina to Vermont last year and camped one night at Mount Philo in Charlotte. And it did create a significant amount of weight in the car. So when you're traveling, keep that in mind. Climbing steep hills, just general wear and tear on the engine, and anything else you might be packing, is that the lumber itself that you might be using, maybe there's different kits and different things out there that don't weigh as much as what I chose, but there could be a weight issue there to just be mindful of as far as wear and tear in your car or the pressure in your tires and so forth. That I'm not an expert, but I am aware that once you pack it all in, it's a lot of weight, so just bear that in mind. And set your e-brake when you're parking and sleeping. This is a manual transmission, so I always leave it in gear. Make sure you're parking it as level as possible. If you can't get a level spot, at the very least you want your head higher than your feet for blood flow. So in this case, when I put the car camper bed in, the head is by the front of the car, feet are by the tailgate, and so that means if we have to, we park it a little bit nose in the air to make sure you can sleep as comfortably as possible. Just don't ever put it head, even by an inch, right? Head down, you're not going to be comfortable, and it's just not healthy. Okay, let me go show you where all the parts are in the garage. We'll start bringing them out and show you how I built it and how to assemble it. Okay, so I'm out of the garage, and this is the car camper pieces and parts. Cotton rugs, just shove off the side, and I just keep it covered with a drop cloth to keep the dust off from it. Do not want to have to dust this thing. So I will go through all the different parts that we have here because there are multiple pieces. Let's start moving them. This one I have to be careful of because it's hinged, so I've got to kind of carry it closed. Whoop. Then I've got all these various pieces and parts. little propane tanks for the gas cook stove. Okay, these are heavy pieces. Let's see if I can remember how everything goes. Oh yeah, I think this is all one big piece. Oh yeah. I don't think this is one I can lift by myself. Let's see. Yeah, I can walk it over there. Okay, stand by. Use rugs to push things. Come on. Maybe it has to be on a wood floor where it's smoother. Yeah, okay. We're just gonna walk this. This is really a two-person carry the way I built it. It's all hinged together. I'll tear up the wood. Oh, come on. I should have backed the car up closer for this one. Okay, I have to remember how it goes in. Yeah. I'm gonna lean it up against the back of the car first. Okay, the most important part when I put this in is I've got to put the two back seats that are a 60-40 split. I have to move them forward because they do adjust, the seat adjusts front to back. And if memory serves, I got to bring them forward 2 clicks. I hope I'm right. Or is it 2 clicks from the front, 2 clicks from the back? If I get it wrong, the platform won't line up, and then I have to take it all out. So I'm sure I wrote it down someplace, but let me take, this is just a piece of carpet I use for running errands to keep the back of the car clean, but we won't need that in here. Okay. I'll need to do a close-up to show you. There's a lip between the back platform and when it drops down to where the seats are bolted in. And there's a drop there, and I designed this to fit right into that drop off so it's stable. A lot of people will remove these seats for doing a car camper, but I've heard they're a pain in the neck to get back in if you even ever can get them back in again. And I didn't want to deal with that. My goal was to come home from work, take an hour to just throw everything in the car, go camping, and when you come back, not even an hour to take everything out, which means the seats need to come back up and you just need to be ready to go, you know, back to a regular commuter car the next day. Oh my gosh, I'm out of breath. All right, let me figure out the seats. So what I'm going to show you right here is, this is actually the bottom that will sit on the bottom of the car behind the back seats. This is actually the top of the platform that the platform will set on. And these pieces will actually swing out. That's why we've got hinges here. And then there's also hinges down in here. Can we see them? Do it this way. Let me turn it. So hinges on the first section to swing out, and then additional hinges. So what I have to do is I've got to push the seats forward to get this piece right here to drop in about 1.5 inches. And the space we're looking at is that space right there. All right. sit in this one. Yep, I gotta sit in this one to move it forward. Such an awkward grab. Line up back there. Yeah, I think that's right. So the way I did the initial configuration for this bed platform was because I did not want to remove the seats. They're folded down as flat as they can. Now they can flip forward, but if you flip them forward, they're going to be too tall. You won't be able to get in, and it actually eats up your length, and the length is what we're looking for when you're sleeping. This one we can get a full 6 feet, and the way I do that then is that the top of the seats, this section right here is the high point, and the wheel well. I went around the wheel well, but basically this is my high point, and everything has to be level from here back. Let's see if I can lift this in without killing myself. A little bit closer. I can just upend it. In theory. Oh God, oh God, oh boy. Oh, okay, yay. All right. Now, let me get in, get it into place. So, knock this back. And in theory, I have it in the right spot. Yeah. Make sure this looks right. Left to right. Left to right is good. Okay, so here's the space. When I drop it in, it sits right behind the frame that locks the seats in. And so that just, it doesn't go anywhere when you shake it. I mean, eventually it won't go anywhere, but basically it's wedged nice and tight. So yep, I bring the seats forward two clicks, and that's what it's sitting against on the front side. Here, you've got a little, I've kind of curved it up there to accommodate for that rise. Because again, we don't want wood pushing up against the plastic and squeaking the whole ride, squeaking while you're sleeping, or just ruining the inside of your car. When I designed this, I needed to see a 3D. I don't have AutoCAD, although I kind of know. I did AutoCAD for a while, but it's been a long time. So I just needed physically something in front of me, and I ended up using paper, folded paper, like origami almost, and kind of built it out of paper so that I would know the different pieces and parts that I wanted before doing this. And we used that design when I went to put this together. My son helped me cut out a lot of this lumber. He had the tools at the time that I did not have, and so he did a lot of the cutting and shaping and making sure everything was fitting really well based on my specs. One of the features on the 2004 Honda CRV, and I think other years of this particular model, comes with an interesting item that is hidden away. And this, you can see it's green compared to the black of the frame, but this is actually, it's not just a cover, it's actually a picnic table. So when you lift this out, as you can see, it's like almost like a wheel well area where you can store your important stuff, your tools, your jumper cables, brake fluid, paper towels, tarps. Anyway, and also it's good for wet storage. So if you were kayaking or had wet stuff, you can throw all your wet stuff in here as well. I keep my more emergency equipment in here. Anyway, this, you just can't go camping, you can't put a platform in here without this table in place. But once it's in place and the bed is in place, you can't get your picnic table out. You can see the legs fold up here inside of it here. And so I had to really think about this. Let me just slide it back in for a minute. Yeah, so I had to really think about, well, I want to use the picnic table, because what if you know, you're just camping, you know, out in the middle of nowhere, no campsite, no picnic table, and you need a surface, and you know, okay, you can bring a table with you, but that takes up extra space, and this is already there. But once you kind of put everything in, you can't get it back out. So what I did was, I used it as a template. Either if I don't feel like I need a table, because where we're going we'll have some type of table surface, then it can stay in. But if I feel like we need the table, then I took it as a template and made a piece of, with a piece of plywood, and made a replacement for it so that it would still have the hard surface for everything to ride on, but the table itself could come out, and then I just slide it between the bed platform and the mattress, because it's only yay thick. And that way when you get to where you're going, you can just pull that table out and you're in business. So I think for this purpose, I will go ahead and pull the picnic table out and put in the replacement platform and show you how that works. So that's they even put a hole in the middle for an umbrella. It doesn't fit the umbrellas I have, but if I get a smaller umbrella. So that's the underside of it. So we'll take this out. And here's the piece that I built. Just have to slide it into this carpet here. Oh, hang on, come here. There we go. And there's like you can see like there's a lip, like a ledge that this fits on. So I'll just slide that in. Don't have a handle, so I just have a cutout. Drop it in. All right. Here's where the magic happens. I'm going to back the camera up a little bit. So you're wondering what all these hinged on pieces are for this frame. And here we go. These literally pull out. Those are the side supports. And you can, I did that because I wanted to have, like, you know, a trifold. Trifold wasn't going to work because you couldn't really put one over the other. So I did it this way instead. Basically, I cut one piece and then cut it in half again. So these just literally slide into place. Okay, you'll see when I pull this out, this support piece, you get the tie down clips right here. So what I did was, on the back side of this is another clip. And I've got, oh, I don't remember what they're called. Anyway, I should look that up. And this will connect to that once it's in place, and that will completely hold this down. So in the event of, God forbid, a rollover, this will be anchored to the inside of the car. This will not move in the event of a rollover. So just to walk you through the different dimensions of lumber that I used. This solid piece back here up to this point is a 2x10, and the 2x10 has been notched out in the corners here. Put in a little it's like 3/4 inch piece of trim here with a 2x4 on top to get it to the proper height. This is the exact same height as the back of those seats. And then same thing here on the side, though a little bit different. Just based on the lip I was trying to create here, we did it this way. But on these pieces, same thing, 2x10, notched out in the corner to go over the little plastic portion that goes up into the wheel well, and then a 1x3 screwed down in from the top, notched out here because there's a support piece that will go across the back. The other thing you'll notice that I did was, again, I didn't want any rubbing between wood and the interior of the car. So I took the indoor-outdoor carpet and I stapled strips up here along that, just again, so there's no rubbing, no friction points. I'm trying to keep the car in good enough condition. It's over 300,000 miles, and so far it's looking pretty good for its age. I'm trying to keep it that way. Okay, one of the tote bins goes in the car. Move these over for a minute. So we get these from the dentist's office. These little zippered bags. You get your toothbrush, your mouthwash, your dental floss, and I reuse them for this because they're a nice size. One's got a pack of cards in it. This one has, oh, this is like our first aid kit. Neosporin, Band-Aids, Imodium. But in one of them, let's see, this one's got bungee cords, batteries, scissors, carabiners, magnets. One of them has my, not this one, has my hardware for the car camper. Okay, I was wrong. I made one. I made it out of felt and Velcro. Apparently so it was easily identifiable, which I wasn't able to identify. That's where I put it, but it was in the right bin. So anyway, this is where I keep all the hardware. And let me see if I can find what I'm looking for. Okay, skip that. This little packet are the bolts that go to the platform. The base, this is what I'm looking for. Are these little guys here. So we'll put those on the anchors and tighten them down, and that will lock the base in to the car. Let's go do that. All right, so once everything is pretty much in place, I'm gonna lock this down. That's that. Okay, time for the next piece. This is gonna set across the top up here, and the first year I made it, if you can see, it's got like little brackets, little braces, and I didn't really distinguish left from right, but I found out it did matter for some reason, however I built it. So, quick fix, R at the end of that one, left at the end of that one. Now I know, if you know your left from your right, which one will lock in where. And that way also you ensure everything is completely square when we lock it down. Normally I do this and then I'll put the anchors in, but I just wanted to show you the anchors. So that is the square base for the back end, and you can see how much storage there is underneath there. I can fit a lot in that space right there. So now it's time to start putting in the platform pieces. So you can probably tell that the left wheel well is higher than the right wheel well. The right one sits down lower, left one sits higher. Actually quite helpful because it just helps me distinguish the two platform pieces left from right. So pretty easy. This piece has the cutout that will go over the wheel well. That's the underside. This is the top side. It's on, and we just slide around. So everything is cut and curved to fit around that wheel well. And what I'll show you is that there are actually holes right here and holes here that are drilled, and bolts will go through this hole into that one and lock the piece into place. Same thing up here, same thing up here. And I don't think, did I do another one? No, just the corners. So before I put the next piece in, let me get the bolts to make sure this one's located in the right place. Okay, so I've got my little felt pouch that I made. This holds all the bolts specific to this. Just shake them all out. If I drive this in, look for my hole. and then just pushes in. These are, I'll have to see what the measurement is on these, but it's just basic, just a regular bolt, fairly small head on it that I use. And then from the passenger side, and drop that one in. So once these bolts are in and it's time to take them out, you literally can just lift up on the platform and pop it out, or, you know, just reach under and push it up. So anyway, super simple, easy in, easy out. So that's the left side. Let's get the right side. For me, it's easiest if I do these holes up here first. I can't even see them, but you can feel it. You can feel what it is. Once I get these located, and then everything fits in perfectly. There we go. Just needs a wiggle. A few little pieces of wood splinter here. Okay, this one. Oh, didn't even have to look for that one. There, that is in. That's solid. That's the back end. The next piece goes in as a bifold. So these are two separate panels, and these go in for traveling. The bifold also goes in for travel, but it doesn't open up until we get to campsite. This is fairly heavy. Oh my goodness. Okay, in you go. In you go. Slide. Oh my goodness, once I can clear that. Okay, and then this piece is going to sit up on this lip here. So I usually just need to push the seatbelt out of the way, move it over, come around to the other side. Okay, and then I just slide this side over, getting the seatbelt out of the way. Try to line it up. Line the first hole. There's that one. Next one. Make sure we're pushed over enough. And then just wiggling it, they'll just go right in. Okay, those two are in. I'll just lean through and drop these in. Very easy. Simple. So there, that platform is in. You can see the little bolts that just drop in. They're recessed enough that it doesn't affect the mattress. And the front seats, the front passenger seat and the driver's seat have not been moved. They're still in their original location, pretty far back actually. I think the front passenger seat is all the way back. So you can see there's a fair amount of space still for travel. This will stay in this position for traveling. And when we get to camp, this piece will flip up. It's on piano hinges. And we have 2x4s that sit into these two little brackets. The 2x4s will ride in this space here between the platform and the back of the seats. This is actually a lot of space, a lot of storage space that is awkward, so you can't put a bin or anything, but you can put all kinds of things like raincoats and blankets and whatever is awkward, doesn't fit in a bin, doesn't fit in a square space, and it's a quick grab, especially like a raincoat or a regular coat. If you just don't want it in your space, is you just shove it in this little pocket right here, and it's so easy to pull it out. And then another shot from the rear, so you can see how much storage space is under the platform. And then there's a significant amount of space on either side of the frame. So I'll put in like the propane tanks, anything that fits through this opening, we'll stuff in there, the awkward things. So that's the frame. I got a couple other little cool things, and we'll start putting in the bins and the mattress and show you how everything fits in, and a couple other kind of cool features. One thing you could do or not do is, you know, this car has 3 headrests, and I'm just going to take them out. You could leave them in if you don't have a lot of stuff to put in here, but it does block your sort of overhead access before you fold out the platform. So I typically like to just take these out and throw them in the garage while we're gone, and they're easy enough to put back in, nothing complicated there. So I'm going to take the headrests out. Okay, so I've pulled the headrests out, and you can see there's a lot more space to work with.